You know who this is. You know what time it is. Kente Bates Halcyon Fitness Group coming back at you with yet another drive time video. Today, talking about ripples. Ripples. What we do has an effect across time and space. Much like the line off of the movie Gladiator back in the year 2000. What we do affects everything and everyone that comes before and behind us. So many of us, we have lived in certain events in history, certain periods of time that we didn't even know were so momentous until we look back. I'm pretty sure that the people living in the time that the Dark Ages started, they probably were thinking the same thing, looking back in the afterlife. A lot like now, we look back at 9/11, and 9/11 has happened over 20 years ago. And we see how different the world is now. We see how different we treat each other. We see how different that business is conducted. We see how different just everything is and how different we are. Just like with, I guess you want to call it the COVID era. Look at how different retail is. Once upon a time, you didn't take rides from strangers. Now you call people up, people that you don't know, to come give you a ride. Same with food. You didn't take food from strange people that you didn't know. Now, you're DoorDashing. People you don't know are literally feeding you. Ripples across time and space. Those examples that I gave about, events and, the Dark Ages and all that stuff, that, those are pretty much examples that can help paint a picture. Now, the real deal about what I'm trying to talk about is this. Look at the decisions that you make in your personal life. The decisions that you make, the people that you include in your life, the things that you choose to believe. Look at how you dress at certain times in your life. I'll use myself as an example, as I often do. There was once upon a time when I was a younger man that grew up in the 80s and 90s. We dressed in baggy jeans. A good number of us, we wore shoes like shell toes. We wore shoes like Reebok Exo Fits. Or those Fila fitness shoes. And we sagged our jeans. A lot of times we would stand on the corner and grab our crotch. I still don't understand why we did it that way, but we did. A lot of it was just imitating what we saw on television or trying to look tough, especially if you grew up in the projects like I did. These things have an effect on your mind. These things have an effect on your life. It becomes part of who you are and part of your history. Ripples. Because there comes a time when you grow out of it. There comes a time when you grow out of these things and you simply move on. There's times to where you can pinpoint where you laughed at toilet humor and you did practical jokes and you did all the things that basically people in your age group did when you were younger. And what happens? You eventually grow out of it. But these things have an effect. Ripples. Because see, in a lot of cases, people, how we are taught, how we're expected to behave. The only reason that stuff makes sense is because that's what's expected. That's what's drilled into you. That's what's beaten into your head. But is it really how things really go? Or is that expectations? Yet another set of ripples. Your parents, your family, your friends, the times in which you grew up in. Those things really set a precedent for you. Those things really set marks in your life, whether it's a high mark or a low mark. A lot of times set up strongholds in your mind. And these strongholds are really tough to break. Especially when you have this drilled into you day after day after day after day after day. Now, with this being a religious nation, those of you who are watching in the U.S., I remember growing up hearing the biblical verse, which would say, and I'm paraphrasing here, when I was a child, I spake as a child, but when I grew up, I grew out of childish things. And that verse is usually used to tell someone to act the way I want you to act, because I think the way that you're acting is detrimental to you based on what I want you to do in life. Ripples. The effects of actions and speech and thoughts in your life that cuts across time and space. What if I would say to you, you can create your own set of ripples to tear down the strongholds in your mind, to destroy what may have been done to you. Now, in all of the time that I've been making these videos and doing stuff of a motivational manner, wanting people to be excellent and strive for greatness, I am always going back to working on things and working for things and putting things in a proper perspective. When I say a proper perspective, I don't mean things that are based on how I see them. I have always been someone who is like, you have to understand who you are and what works for you. You just gotta. Now, how to break these strongholds, how to break these ripples and the undercurrents that drag you down. You find that you're stuck in a certain thought pattern. You find that you're trapped in a certain type of behavior. It is because of what's been downloaded in you. And you have to understand, you must break free of these things. If not, you will continue to struggle. You will continue to be conflicted. You will continue to not have the things that you truly want out of life and out of yourself. One way, and I think this is the most important way, figure out who you are. As I always say, you, the individual, are the author and the finisher of your life. You're the source. You're the one who makes it go. Not anyone or anything else. You must understand there's so many things in this life. It's truly a process. There's so many things in this life. It's truly something that you build and you perfect and you grow and you protect. You build your greatness. You grow your greatness. You protect your greatness. You don't allow people to speak into your life who are not about the business of building with you and walking with you and supporting you. You do not allow those people to have any say in your life. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's your parents, your spouse, your kids, co-workers. It doesn't matter. Figure out who you are. And that takes time. Another way is to simply declare who you are. And what does that mean? Yes, it goes back to affirmations. It goes back to knowing, doing, so you can start becoming. It all starts up here. In this world, how it's really run, it begins from the inside out. You can't get bought without a thought. You can't win unless you win within. Because if you don't win within, you will lose out. That's just the way it is. That is just the way it is. Another way, combine 1 and 2 so that you will have great results and great success. What am I always talking about in these videos? I'm always talking about building. I'm always talking about growth. I'm always talking about moving ahead, moving forward. These things take time. patience, preparation, planning. These things aren't easy, people. It's not easy at all, ladies and gentlemen. I will promise you this. You put your nose to the grindstone. Stay busy. Stay alert. You will win. This is not for the weak of heart. Life is not that way. As the old saying goes, fortune favors the bold. And you must be bold enough to revolutionize yourself, revolutionize your lifestyle, revolutionize your life. Now, for those of you who would like to work with me one-on-one, hit up the links in the description that we can get the ball rolling. My services are great. My services are not cut rate because I'm not a cut rate kind of guy. Understand, you work with me, prepare for your life to change. Prepare for the way you think to change. One driving force of the Halcyon Fitness Group, above all else, is to change the world through changing the way that the individual sees themselves. And you're going to get that working with me. You guys have a great day. Well, great rest of the day. Get some rest. Do what you got to do, because we got another week coming up. And we'll talk to you later.